Hi.
This is Ashlyn, our intern.
Ashlyn.
Hello.
This is Mark Scotch and his son Nick.
Hi.
All right. What do you guys? Nothing. We are. Yeah. There we go. There we go. And we're live. Okay. And a big thank you to Desert Financial Credit Union for sponsoring the KRIM Community Spotlight Program. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Thursday morning. We have our intern Ashlyn in the studio this morning again. How are you doing, Ashlyn?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you, Chris?
Doing good, doing good. Thank you for taking a break out of your busy day at school to come in.
Of course, always.
Yeah, there we go. And on our Community Spotlight today, we have a couple guests. And this is very interesting. We received a press release from a gentleman that is riding across the country on his bicycle. And we're going to get a chance to talk to him today to find out why he's doing it and just the inspiration behind it. And it's very encouraging. It's a great story. His name is Mark Scotch, and this journey is called the Oregon Trail. Good morning, Mark.
Hi, Chris. Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. And his son Nick also in the studio. Good morning, Nick. And
Good morning.
Yeah, thank you for coming in today. So, have to start with first. What caught my attention was the title. You know, of your journey here. The website. It's markscotch.com. But this journey, you're calling it the Oregon Trail. And it's funny. You met Rock and Ron this morning, and when he was reading it, he called me in. He said, "Wait a second, shouldn't this say the Oregon Trail?" I'm like, no, it's the Oregon Trail, and explained to him a little bit what it's about. But if you could, I guess, let our listeners know kind of what this ride, what it's about.
Well, the Oregon Trail is about kidney donation, so
Okay.
hence the name Oregon Kidney.
Uh-huh.
So I met a stranger randomly in Louisiana about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm from Wisconsin, and I was on my way to Texas and Arizona and Mexico. Since I retired, I try to come down here during the winter and do some mountain biking and
Yeah.
get away from the Wisconsin winters a little bit. So we just randomly stopped. My wife and I just stopped in Louisiana. Went to a microbrewery, having a beer and some dinner. There was a guy next to me at the bar, and I just started talking to him. He's a very friendly guy, and we hit it off really good. He's into sports and politics, and we got going pretty good. And as the conversation went on, he finally said, "Well, I got to go home." And I said, "Oh, yeah, okay, sure. I'll buy you another one, Wisconsin thing to do, He said, "No, I really got to go home." He said, "I have to go home and go on dialysis." And he was going home, and he goes on dialysis every night for 10 hours, or he was. His kidneys had failed. He was in stage 5 kidney failure. And he said, "I'm kind of looking for a kidney." And I said, "Heck, I'll give you one of mine." And that's what started the whole thing. And the reason I said it so casually and so quickly was the fact that my sister-in-law had donated like a dozen years before that. So I knew you could donate, but I had never, ever had any curiosity about it. Never asked one question of her about it. But it was always in the back of my head, I guess, for the right opportunity. And so that started the whole thing. And I was going to have to go to Shreveport to do it, but then I learned I didn't have to. I could do it in Wisconsin through the National Kidney Registry, nkr.org. They have something called the voucher program. They have a pool of about 100 hospitals in their network, and it's kind of new, so that's why I wanted to go out and share the information so people could learn the more recent facts about donation, how easy it is, and basically you can save someone's life. So I turned my bicycle ride into an awareness ride to demonstrate that you can donate a kidney and still, I'm going from San Diego to New Orleans on this trip.
Wow.
Gonna stop in Lubbock this winter and then continue on, but I've done a trip. Last summer I did 2 trips. One from Wisconsin to Louisiana, 7 months after my surgery, to meet Hugh. I was down a kidney, he was up a kidney. And then I rode from Martha's Vineyard back to Wisconsin last fall.
Wow.
Yeah, so
wow.
That's it in a nutshell.
Yeah, and I have to see if I can pronounce this, but in Louisiana, I love on the website, again, it's Mark Scotch, SCOTCH.com. The town in Louisiana, is that Natchitoches? Natchitoches?
No, look at it. It says Natchitoches.
Natchitoches. Oh, of course. Here we go. Ashlyn, see, check this out. That's great. That's
Natchitoches,
great.
yeah.
Natchitoches.
Yeah.
Natchitoches.
Not Natchitoches. What you would think, at least. It's Natchitoches.
Natchitoches.
Natchitoches. And it's, I think it's the oldest city in Louisiana.
Wow, Natchitoches.
Yeah,
Natchitoches,
Yeah,
Louisiana.
and Hugh, the guy that I donated for, he's actually in Phoenix right now. We flew him up. My brother actually did. And we did an event in Mayo yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, and
2 days ago.
2 days ago, yeah.
Yeah.
And so he flew up. He's playing golf right now while I'm riding bike up the mountain from Phoenix to Payson.
Yeah, and we'll get to that, but first, Desiree Brazino, watching, I think in Phoenix, but let us know, Desiree, where you are, but she commented, "Thank you for shining light on this topic. One of my closest and dearest cousins is alive today thanks to a kidney donation." So on your website, markscotch.com, looking on here a little bit this morning, you give some essential information or information about kidney donors, the need of kidney donors, and right at the top, one of the pieces of information you have is 13 people die every day in the U.S. alone due to a lack of kidney donors or transplants.
Correct. And that's what really sparked me to do this.
Wow. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. 13 people every day just from
Waiting for a kidney
waiting
transplant.
for a
Yeah.
kidney.
There's about almost 100,000 people on the wait list right now. And because of lack of kidneys, they just don't get enough. And dialysis, although it does a good job as a stopgap measure to filter the blood, it cannot do as good a job. So it's sad, but dialysis is really a slow death for these people unless they get a kidney, for many of them. So they have a window of opportunity. They have to be basically sick enough to get priority on the wait list. But then, of course, it's a slow decline, and then they might get too sick to even have surgery. So a lot of people, when they first realize that they might have to go on dialysis, it's called preemptive surgery, they'll start looking for a living donor. And because that's the best way to get, and living kidneys last longer than deceased donors. Ever since I was a kid, I had, on my driver's license, if something would happen, be a deceased donor. Most of us do that.
Yes.
Most of us should do that.
Yeah.
But they just can't fill the need. So, and only 3 out of 1,000 people die in such a way their organs can be used. Basically, you have to die in the hospital.
Yeah. So they can be harvested or
Right.
taken out and reused, given to someone else.
Yeah, they can't ever lack blood.
Gotcha.
So they have to in the hospital.
So, and another statistic you have on your website is if 10 to 15 out of every 10,000 people would become a living donor, we could eradicate the waiting list immediately.
Yeah, I mean that's there's a lot of different ways people look at that. Another example that I've heard a friend of mine from Chicago area. How many stadiums do we fill every year with football, basketball, baseball, college, pro? If we would fill one of those stadiums one time every year with people that would be qualified to be a living kidney donor, more than donate now. So 50, 60, 70,000 people, one time. There wouldn't be any wait list.
Wow. Again, if you're just joining us, talking with Mark Scotch, and he is currently riding his bike from San Diego to Lubbock, Texas. That's the first leg of this journey. And coming up the hill today. Oh man.
Yesterday.
How was that?
Well, I knew it was going to be there, so I just
It's there.
It's mental. It's mental. I just find a gear. I ride a mountain bike. I don't even ride a road bike.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so a mountain bike isn't near as fast.
Yeah.
But that's what I do. I'm a mountain biker. I've come out here in the past to Arizona, New Mexico, and like to ride, the mountains in the winter. So I just got on the bike, finding gear that I'm comfortable with. Nick, my son, and my wife Lynn were kind of support me, so I stopped them about 4 times, I guess.
Yeah.
Get something to eat, get something to drink, and
That's not
just
4 times. It would be about 400 times.
Well,
I think I'd be stopping.
my legs, if I stop, they kind of
Yeah.
the blood, I don't know, the blood flow, whatever. I'd rather just keep going.
Yeah.
But I didn't kill myself per se.
Yeah.
Unless the downhill. That 7% downhill is fast.
Yeah.
I probably got close to 50 miles an hour on it.
Oh yeah. No, I remember I did a lot of biking when I was younger and had the little cat eye, micro bike computer, and get your speed and everything. And oh yeah, you get going. I know one of the there was a rider here in town, and he moved away, I don't know, 5-6 years ago now, but he wanted to go down into Star Valley. They had put up the radar down there. He wanted to get, a few cyclists together, and, because he would have to draft, but he wanted to set that off and have it take a picture of him on his bike, blowing through there, because I think he would have to be going, I think it was 55. But he's like, I could do that if I was drafting and then just came out from behind him. I think I could do that. That'd be fun.
Is he still alive?
No, he is. He's a crazy one. He's up in Oregon now. So, but I could definitely see him do it. Dan Bazinski was his name, and he did a lot of mountain biking in the area. And yeah, a lot of mountain biking in this area. You have to. There's a really good race up in Pine, Fire on the Rim.
Okay.
That you should check out and maybe come down and ride some year.
My racing years are kind of behind me. I don't like. I don't like the I guess we call it the pain cave. I just ride for pleasure now and just like to ride. But I still like to do long distance, and it's the best way to see a city or just see an area. I just love riding a bike.
Well, and there's a good Wisconsin connection here. Probably, a lot of people in town from the area, but our police chief, Chief Ronald Tischer, is from Wisconsin, and also our police lieutenant, Jason Hazlow, from Wisconsin as well.
Cool.
So, I, talk with those guys quite a bit, and great guys. But it's good. Talk about Wisconsin.
You spend nights with them over there, do you?
No. No, but they like, they like the cold weather. They like, plowing snow and doing all the, outdoor stuff when it's cold. It's like, you guys can do it. Somebody you might know, Tracy Scotch watching, saying, proud of my father-in-law, keep going dark. There you go, keep going dark. And Desiree watching from Casa Grande. So she's down in Casa Grande. Casa Grande, I think. The gringo way of saying it, Casa Grande. That's my Pennsylvania accent, coming out. But again, the website is markscotch.com. Now, you on here, you talk about the journey, why you're doing this. Also, there's the ability to donate to, and is that to this journey, your ride, or is it to a foundation, research, or?
Well, we didn't want to set this up as a way to raise money per se. Our main thrust was to educate people, and to basically, I guess, in the bottom line, it would be get people curious about donation.
Yes.
There is an expense to this, of course, and so if people want to donate, it would go to our daily expenses.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I have had some people donate, and so we just use it for what we need it for. Like in Payson, I contacted local Knights of Columbus through the Catholic Church.
Okay.
I belong to the Knights of Columbus, and so I reached out to different groups along the way for like housing, lodging.
Yeah.
Which we try to keep our expenses down. And so Dan Elm and his wife Judy, we met with them last night for dinner, and the Knights of Columbus, or Dan, I'm not sure which, comped our motel room. So yeah, but if people want to help us out financially, that's great, but that's not really what we're after. We're looking for people to learn more about this, and even if they can't become donors themselves, just learning about it it helps because then they share that message to other people.
Mm-hmm. And again, the main message that you want to get out to people is to show them, to actually demonstrate and show them that your life is not limited after you donate a kidney.
Well, because my own experience of donating, I was like, how safe is it?
Mm-hmm.
And it's very safe. I probably run a much greater risk getting hurt in a car with a car hitting me on the bike than I did through my donation surgery. And then also, what can you do afterwards? I was doing endurance races, Wisconsin and Minnesota, we have some really long winter races, 20, 30, 40 hours on fat bikes, and I've cross-country skied 160 miles for a race. Some pretty, stupid stuff. But can you do that, could I do that afterwards? And I did. This last winter, I went back and did 2 endurance races in the winter just to demonstrate that you can go back to that stuff.
Now, Nick, just wanted to, a quick question. You're in here, so hey, you're gonna participate here. Were you concerned when you found out your dad, was going to do this? Was there some concern for his health or just his ability to function after?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. So I'm not educated myself very much previously, or maybe that much even today. But anytime you hear someone choose an elective surgery that's going to remove an organ from their body, makes you kind of pause and think. Make sure he didn't bump his head on a mountain bike race somewhere or something. But
what happened down in Louisiana, Dad?
but over the years, he's kind of alluded to it. Over the years, he's kind of done some stupid things or some races that kind of make you scratch your head. So we've kind of gotten used to the kind of the spur of the moment kind of odd things that maybe the shock factors come down a little bit.
Yeah, and it is. I guess you're demonstrating. You're demonstrating, and you were doing this before the donation, but you are showing people, not just saying theoretically. Theoretically, I should be able to do this, but you're still doing these things. I mean, heck, riding from San Diego to Lubbock, Texas, and eventually to Louisiana on a bicycle. That's physically exerting. I mean, period.
Well, and to add to it, to even go to the next level, we went through the California-Arizona desert. Nick was with. So what's the biggest issue with being in a desert? Dehydration.
Oh, yeah.
If you only have one kidney, you have to be really cautious of getting enough fluids and everything like that. And so, riding the bike is one thing, but I took it up a notch going through the desert on the bike. And you can ride on the interstate. We did do some interstate riding, but we also did some pretty brutal Jeep trail and 2-track stuff that was very strenuous. I ended up, before Nick joined us a couple days ago, from Indio to Blythe, I think it was, I ended up on a maintenance road for the pipeline and power lines. And I had to walk because the sand had drifted over on the road and I couldn't ride the bike. So I ended up walking for 4 or 5 hours in the sand, just a super soft sand. Luckily I had plenty of water. I knew I had to have a lot of water. So, and then the next day I got on the bike and rode again. So, I mean, I'm really putting my, righty to work. The kidney I have left, I call it righty. Lefty's gone.
Lefty's gone.
Lefty's missing all this fun. It's somewhere in New York. Somewhere in New York. I don't know where.
That's funny. Lefty has left the building.
Yep.
Lefty's no longer there. Oh goodness. So Ashlyn, I'm gonna just ask you, what do you think? What do you think about that? What do you think about kidney donation and riding across the country? What thoughts come into your mind?
Oh, well, excuse me. When you were talking about dialysis, I was thinking about my grandma I think she's in Tillamook, and she's having to do dialysis because of her kidneys. So I think that was, one of the reasons why I put donor down on my driver's license, because of that certain situation. And I think it's wonderful that you're doing this kind of stuff to show people.
And it's again the living donor. I think that like you said, bringing awareness to that, and how much of an impact, how much more of an impact that has, but how, I don't want to say easy, because it isn't easy, obviously, and it's a, a decision, a commitment that, no one should take lightly, but it's more, I guess, it's more accessible, or it's more possible than probably a lot of people think.
Right, and that's part of the message why I want to get out to people. My limited knowledge of donation had me going to Shreveport multiple trips to get tested, to get evaluated after that pre-op, surgery, post-surgery, expecting to stay down there for a couple weeks. The thing that really got me thinking was, if there's complications, you have to go back to the same hospital. I could literally have been living in Shreveport, not knowing when I'd get out of there if there were any complications.
Gotcha.
And I had to drive right through Madison, Wisconsin, which is one of the top-rated transplant hospitals in the nation. So why would I be doing this? And why do people have to do this? There's got to be something better in 2020. I mean, it just seemed very backward to me.
Yeah.
And I kept digging, and when I decided to turn my joyride down the Mississippi River, because I knew I'd be making all these trips to Shreveport, so I thought, well, I'm going to ride my bike along the Mississippi and have fun. My wife likes to explore small towns.
Yeah.
We're going to turn this into fun. So I started putting the ride together at the same time I was learning how to become a donor. And then when I read 13 People Die Every Day, I said, man, I got to do more than just ride my bike. I'm going to try to reach out to media and learn and help people to understand this better. So I sent an email out to the National Kidney Registry, told them what I'm doing, flat out. They contacted me through the National Kidney Donation Organization, another organization of people that have donated, and they called me back and said, hey, NKR told us they're going to be doing this, explain what you got in mind.
Yeah.
So I told them, and they said, no, you don't have to go to Shreveport, you can do everything in Madison. I go, how? And they said, through the voucher program. So that was a game changer. That allowed me to do everything in Madison, get this voucher, and I gave it to Hugh Smith, the guy I met in Louisiana.
Yeah.
He had to register at an NKR facility in Jackson, Mississippi, which is only a little bit further than he was driving already.
Yeah.
So, bottom line, I got evaluated, I was tested, deemed healthy enough to donate. They put me on the registry to find a match, the best match at the time of those 100 hospitals within NKR. And that's another important thing to remember, is that finding the best match is the way to go. Less chance of rejection, less pills they gotta take, all that kind of stuff. So my kidney at the time was the best match in New York. I gave Hugh the voucher. 6 months later, my surgery wasn't tied into his schedule or nothing. It was just my schedule.
Yeah.
At my location, gave him the voucher, gave him priority on the list. When he was ready to have surgery, they found a kidney from him in Southern California.
Gotcha.
So I decided to do these bike rides to symbolize the travel of the kidneys.
Oh, okay.
Mine going to New York, his coming from Southern California.
Oh, wow.
And that's how that all kind of tied together. I like to ride for a reason. You're talking about races. I found myself doing these mountain bike races and all these races over the last 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
And somewhere in those races, especially the long ones, you ask yourself a question: why am I here? Why am I doing this? And if you can't answer that question, that's when people stop doing it. And I was asking myself the question: why am I doing this? Well, I found out, I guess, why I'm doing it was to get ready for this.
Wow. Yeah. Preparation. And now something also that I put out there on the title of this of our live stream, because we're live streaming on the KRIM FM Facebook page and the YouTube channel, is that this journey, this effort, you received a winner of USA Today's Humankind First Annual Triumph of the Year Award. And I was watching the videos, and they highlighted, and there were other people that were nominated or were chosen to possibly receive this, and they picked you and your journey, your effort, what you're doing out of all those people, and that's special. That's I think good.
Yeah, it's a fantastic tool to use to create attention. What happened on my first ride last spring from Wisconsin to Louisiana, 7 months after surgery, USA Today Humankind got wind of it, So they put a video together of that ride. And then later in the year, like August, they had their first annual winner of different categories. So I got submitted as one of the potential stories, and USA Today picked me in the Triumph of the Year category with another very worthwhile, candidate. And then it came down to us two for that category of Triumph of the Year. Then it was up to people voting.
Oh, wow.
Then people had to vote, had to call, the usual, text and a vote, whatever.
Yeah.
So, then it just depends on how many people are gonna vote, and I ended up getting more votes. So
Wow.
that's how that worked. So we use it to call attention to the worthiness of the project. If we could take this on a national level, why not? I mean, I'm working on that. And you're helping us do that.
Yeah, everybody along the way. What is great, and that's what I love about communities. Even if you're a small community or you come from a small town, it doesn't matter.
Nope.
The impact you can have is limitless.
Yeah.
It really is limitless, and it's not determined by where you come from or how many people, but it's the desire, the passion that is put into it. And that's where talking to our young people, and it doesn't matter what age either. It doesn't matter what age, you can have a really big impact in your community and in the country. Wherever it takes you.
Yeah, we found out through these rides that we look for media anywhere we can get it. Because when it goes on the internet, it really doesn't matter, whether it came from a small town or not. It can go viral anywhere.
Yep.
So that's why we make a point we've never turned down an opportunity.
Yeah.
And as you can probably tell, I'll talk to anybody about anything.
Yeah. That's what it said right on the website. It's like you guys, when you met it was like, both of you never met a stranger before,
right.
huh?
Yeah.
And you're like,
if you met Hugh, his personality is so infectious. He's just a great little guy.
Yeah.
I used to be a jockey, so I call him a little guy.
Okay.
I tease him about his size.
Yeah.
But he was a jockey, and he was a jockey for 17 years. A jockey wants to stay small.
Yep.
So they don't eat. But they get banged up pretty good because riding horses, and he was pumping ibuprofen and basically ruined his own kidneys, not even realizing it.
Yeah. It is a very physical profession. Horse jockeys, and you see, and man, they put their bodies through the ringer.
Yeah, and they don't just ride one horse a day. I mean, he will ride 4 or 5 races a day.
Wow.
Yeah, great stories from Hugh.
Yeah. Oh.
And he doesn't embellish at all. So.
Well, again, talking with Mark Scotch, and his journey, the Oregon Trail. You can find out more about it. Again, it's a kidney donation journey, and he's raising awareness on becoming a live donor and looking into becoming a live kidney donor. The website is markscotch.com. And if you feel led to help out, support, follow his journey, whatever you want to do, share this with people that you know that maybe you've been talking about this or want to learn more about it. There's a lot of great information on the website.
And like Ashton, right?
Ashland.
Ashland, yeah, about your mother. I mean, we found, or your grandmother. We've on this thing. It doesn't have to go very far. Pretty much all of us are affected by friends or family or something. Very few people aren't in some way with this killer. So it's pretty.
Yeah, and going back to that statistic, 13 people die each day just in the U.S. Waiting for a kidney donation or transplant.
Yeah.
That is a very high number. I would have never imagined that.
Well, it's an interesting number because it's a high number, but my wife and I first, when I read it, it's like, okay, I mean, my wife, she's more knowledgeable. She's usually more informed than I am. So I'll talk to Lynn about it. She didn't know either, so it's like, oh, well, if she doesn't know, then there's got to be thousands, maybe millions of people that don't know that fact in this country. And we're only talking about maybe 70,000 people more a year donating to wipe it out. That's not very many. So yeah, but it's a high number, but it's also a low number. You know, if you think about it, it's manageable. We could do this as a nation.
Yeah. Like the other statistic on there of 10 to 15 out of every 10,000 people, would become a living donor. Then that would take care of that.
Yeah.
So, and I think you wanted to give a quick shout out
Yeah.
to your barber this morning, huh?
Yeah, I got done. We went. We attended mass this morning with
Yeah.
Dan and his wife, and so I had some time to kill. So I went and got a haircut, and I went a Twin Pines barbershop. Jacob Rodriguez was in there getting a haircut, and he's, I told him I had to have a quick haircut because I had to get down here.
Yeah.
And of course, one thing led to another.
I know we emailed this morning, we communicated, but then as the clock was ticking, I'm like, okay, it's 9:55, but I did see Nick out front, wasn't sure who it was, but taking pictures of the building. I'm like, I don't think that's Mark, but he's probably associated with Mark somehow. And then you pulled up on your bike.
Yeah.
I'm like, there we go. All right. I know, just in the nick of time.
Yeah, well, thanks for Jacob.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Mark, for taking time out of your journey to come in here.
Thank you. This is what it's all about, is getting media out there. So.
No, and it is great, and we really encourage people to visit Mark's website. It's markscotch.com, and it's the Oregon Trail and his journey on the kidney donation, and just demonstrating how there aren't any limits after you've donated a kidney. That even whether it's righty or lefty, whoever you keep, you still can do whatever you're doing before. So.
Right, and it's a Facebook page called the Oregon Trail as well.
Okay.
They'll try to get you to Oregon, the state, but just keep working on it. The Oregon Trail Facebook page.
There you go. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Nick. And Ashlyn, thank you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. And thank you, everyone, for listening. And a big thank you to Desert Financial Credit Union as well for sponsoring our Community Spotlight program. Time to get back to the music with some Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, U2, Earth, Wind, and Fire, and more. But first, an update from the National Weather Service.
The forecast for a base and surrounding areas.
Desert,
Forecast for
Yeah, there you